I'm Lena, and I'm 27. Not long ago, I used to believe that loyalty meant family. Now, I'm not sure of that anymore. It all began on a rainy Tuesday morning. After work, my mom called me into the living room. My uncle was there too, looking worried as he paced around. My mom told me we had to discuss something serious. They explained that someone had stolen $50,000 from my uncle's safe, and that the thief was my younger sister, Chloe. I was stunned. Chloe, are you sure? I asked. Uncle Sam nodded and said that the security camera in his study clearly showed her. Then my mom said they had a solution. She said I should take the blame. You don't have a police record, she said calmly, and you can handle it better than Chloe. I couldn't believe it. I told her I didn't do anything and I'm not going to cover for her mistake. Her tone changed instantly. Then get out, she snapped. You're no longer welcome here. Before I could even pack properly, she started throwing my things onto the porch. It hurt a lot. What they didn't know was that I had been secretly paying all the bills, rent, utilities, even Chloe's college loan. So I left and canceled all the automatic payments from my credit card. If they thought I was unimportant, they would soon see the truth without me. That first night was very rough. I stayed at my best friend Tasha's place. She let me sleep on her couch without asking many questions. I only told her that I needed some space from my family. Tasha just nodded and said, "Take your time." The next morning, I woke up to many missed calls and angry texts from my mom and Chloe. Mom texted, "What did you do? The internet is down." Chloe texted, "Why isn't the rent paid? Did you cancel something? You're so immature." Mom added, "You think this is funny? You're punishing us because you didn't do what we wanted." I didn't respond. I just looked at my phone as they grew more desperate. By noon, more messages came. Their power was off, groceries spoiled, and even Chloe's online exam was interrupted because there was no Wi-Fi. They had no idea that everything, Wi-Fi, gas, electricity, rent was in my name and paid with my money. But now, I stopped it all. That evening, Tasha and I sat on her small balcony drinking coffee. She asked, "Do you think they'll ever realize what you did for them?" I shrugged. Maybe, but it's too late. I'm not going to be their backup plan anymore. Just then, I got another text from Chloe. "You're dead to us." I smiled a little and thought, good. Don't call me when the power is cut off tomorrow. Then 2 days later, Uncle Sam called me. I hesitated, but then I answered. At a diner near my old neighborhood, he greeted me with a tired look. "Lena," he said, "I'm sorry. I didn't agree with what your mother asked you to do. I was upset, so I checked things out." He showed me the security footage from his study, clearly showing Chloe entering the room and opening the safe. "I gave this to the police yesterday," he said. "They're now building a case against her." He also showed me a printed list of payments that proved I had been paying all the bills. I couldn't speak, but my throat felt tight. He asked, "Why didn't you ever say anything?" I smiled slightly. "Because I thought that's what family does. You help without expecting thanks." He looked at me with a mix of regret and admiration. "Now you won't be the one who pays for this." Before we could continue, his phone buzzed. "Police, we just issued a warrant for Chloe for theft and identity fraud," he announced. That night, Chloe was arrested outside her favorite cafe. A neighbor later told me that Chloe was screaming at the officers, saying it was a mistake and that I had set her up. But the camera footage was clear and the forged documents, fake loan applications, credit card info in my name, and even a new account application using my social security number confirmed her guilt. My mom lost control. She rushed to the police station, shouting that I must have doctored the footage and that this was family business, not police business. But the police did not agree. They even warned her about interfering with their investigation. Later, my uncle said she received a citation for obstructing the investigation and might face legal troubles. After a few days, my mom showed up at Tasha's house. She looked different. Her hair was messy, her voice trembled, and for the first time she said, "I'm sorry, I waited." She explained that she thought she was protecting Chloe and didn't know the whole story. Then she pleaded, "Come back home. We need you." I took a deep breath and said, "No, you don't need me. You need someone to blame. I'm not that person anymore." She stood there with tears in her eyes, and I gently closed the door. For the first time, I felt free. A week went by, then two. I didn't hear from my mom again, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to. The house I used to support fell apart. Utilities were turned off, rent piled up, and Chloe lost her chance at bail after even more evidence of her crimes was found. They even discovered that she had used my name to rent out my old room online for cash, adding identity theft to her charges. I stopped watching the drama unfold. I turned off the noise and looked for a new beginning. With Tasha's help, I moved into a small, simple one-bedroom apartment. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, and no one could yell at me, blame me, or use me like a wallet. I took everything I had learned from balancing bills and managing money and started a blog called Truth and Receipts. I wanted to help young people protect their money from manipulative family members and partners. At first, only a few people read my posts. Then my post titled, "When Your Family Becomes the Bill," went viral. I woke up to thousands of shares and messages from people saying, "This is my story too." Before long, a small brand offered me a sponsorship deal, a local magazine interviewed me, and I even did a podcast. Finally, people started noticing me for what I had built rather than for what I had done for someone else. One day, Uncle Sam called me again. His voice was gentle. "Lena, I want you to know that Chloe was sentenced to 4 years in state prison, and your mother is now under investigation for helping her cover things up. I thought you deserved some closure." I thanked him, feeling calm and clear. That week, I stood on the balcony of my new apartment watching the city lights turn on. I sipped coffee, wrapped myself in a blanket, and smiled. They had tried to hide their mistakes with silence, but I finally found my voice. Now I only speak my truth. As months passed, winter turned into spring, and the heavy burden I had carried slowly faded away. My blog turned into a full-time job. I was invited to speak at community events and even received a book deal to write about financial manipulation within families. People started calling me brave, but I was really just tired of being quiet. One warm Sunday afternoon, while I was at a local cafe drafting my book, Tasha came in with her usual iced tea and a smirk. She handed me a small envelope without a return address. Inside was a handwritten note with 6 short lines. "I was wrong. You didn't deserve any of it. I let fear blind me. Chloe made her choices. You made yours. And I hope you never come back." I folded the note and put it away quietly. I didn't need to figure out who wrote it. I just smiled. It wasn't asking for forgiveness. It was simply a confession. I never went back home. However, before my Uncle Sam moved out of state, I visited him once more. We met for coffee, and he handed me a small envelope. "I didn't tell you before," he said, "but I saved $10,000 from Chloe's restitution fund for you. It's my way of thanking you for holding our family together when we all let you down." I tried not to cry, not for the money, but because someone had finally seen me for who I am. I used that money to start a small business, a digital space where people can share their stories, get financial advice, and find legal support when family loyalty turns harmful. I named it Unbreakable because I learned that I was much stronger than I thought. Sometimes, late at night, I look at my old bank statements with all the canceled subscriptions and overdue bills I once paid quietly. Then I see the plaque on my desk that reads, "Bill Eilena, paid in full." I realize that I walked away with nothing, but I ended up with everything that really mattered. Thank you for listening to my story, a journey of betrayal, courage, and reclaiming my power. If this story touched you or reminded you of someone who had to leave to protect their peace, please like the video and leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts or your own story. And if you enjoy real stories of strength, justice, and big turnarounds, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Here at Revenge Truth Stories, we believe that sometimes the best payback is simply being heard. Thank you for being part of my journey. I'll see you next time.